Good evening. I am Samila Khan from Linguist TV. Now I want to introduce Dr. Syed Nasir Abbas from Lasbela University. He did his PhD from Essex University, London. Dr. Sir, would you like to tell us about your educational career?
Actually, as I told you, I completed my master's from a postgraduate college Laya, which was affiliated to Bahauddin Zakriya University, Multan. After doing MA, I got posting as a lecturer in English in Education Department, Government of Balochistan. For initial 10 years, I served in very remote areas of Balochistan like Loralai and Turban. Afterwards, luckily, I got a chance to get a selection as a lecturer in Lasbela University in English department. From there, I got a scholarship for PhD and I moved to England. That was a turning point in my life, and after completing my PhD and then postdoctorate, I was promoted to the position of Dean Faculty in the Faculty of Languages and Literature at Lasbela University, Balochistan. So this is how all these things happened.
Sir, you did your PhD from Essex University, London. What is the difference between educational system in Pakistan and Essex University, London?
Essex University is situated in the suburbs of London, approximately 50 miles away from eastern London. There is a wide difference between education system in the United Kingdom and that in Pakistan, which is also reflected in our societies also. In England, the system is based on research. There is a lot of critical thinking. Something that they give us in academic institutions of England is critical thinking. Whereas in Pakistan, what we do, we simply the ideas are transferred to us. We are maybe in most of the cases unable to generate things when we get a degree from Pakistan. But if we get a degree from England or America or Australia, they give us critical thinking only, which enables us to generate a lot of things, ideas, a lot of views of our own. That is the major difference. Generativism, the ability to generate, ability to develop critical thinking is the core, our main thing, which is the spirit of English education system.
We have heard that you rendered a lot of your contribution for indigenous languages. What is the future of indigenous languages in Pakistan like Saraiki, Sindhi, Brahmi?
Now, throughout the world, as the world has become global village, so we always get influence from the dominant trends in linguistics in the world. And the whole world is diverting its attention towards the study of endangered languages and indigenous languages. Particularly in America, England, Australia, they are spending millions of dollars on revival and documentation of these languages which have not been studied before. So I'm very much optimistic, and I see that in the near future there will be a lot of work on endangered languages of Pakistan and indigenous languages of Pakistan. So it's very hopeful picture in front of me.
Dr. Saab, what is your area of interest in linguistics?
Actually, when I went to England at MA level, I studied phonology. Theoretical phonology was my specialization at MA level. Afterwards, in my PhD, I studied acquisition of second language phonology, which was directly related to the problems of language learning. And the target language was English. Particularly, I studied the influence of mother tongue on acquisition of English, and in mother tongue, my focus was Saraiki. So initially my specialization was in a way phonology and language acquisition. But later on, after completion of my PhD, I also started taking interest in morphology and syntax. So I've been studying, in a way I can say that I'm a theoretical linguist more than an applied linguist.
Dr. Kindly tell us about current research trends in linguistics in Pakistan.
If we see in Pakistan, in most of the universities, mostly our modern day research in Pakistan in linguistics is focused on applied linguistics. Because practically what happened, linguistics started in English departments in Pakistan. So mostly linguistics in Pakistan is applied linguistics. Whereas what we need now is that we have a lot of applied linguists, we need theoretical linguistics particularly. In that regard, we need scientific research which is acceptable, valid, and reliable in the modern world. We need to adopt the latest scientific measures and produce such quality research which is acceptable in the journals in the West, which is publishable in Western journals, which is accepted and which is acceptable and quotable in the research papers in the West. That is something that now in this regard, it's not only the researcher which is involved. In this regard, our teachers have primary responsibility that they develop such a research culture that our students come at par with the students of the West. Because now in these disciplines, like in arts disciplines, I don't see that we should be running behind the West. In physics, in biology, in other sciences, we can say that we don't have that much spending, or we don't have that much equipment, we don't have budget. But in things like linguistics, political science, or in social sciences, we don't need any particular, much money is not required. More hard work is required, which we can also do as the Western people can do. So we need to change the quality of research, which is the joint responsibility of both student and teacher. In this regard, I think the responsibility of teacher is primary and more as compared to the student.
What is contribution of linguistics in bringing the awareness about indigenous languages of Pakistan? What do you feel about the native speaker, his contribution or his attitude?
Actually, Pakistan is very rich in terms of linguistics. We have more than 70 languages being spoken in Pakistan. A language is a vast treasure of knowledge, of culture, of history. A language is full of history, full of culture, full of the stories of the past. And we have 70 different languages. But unfortunately, what happened, we have been very much impressed by foreign languages like English in the near past and Persian in some centuries ago. Whereas now the linguists realize that all languages of the world are equally important, equally valuable. If we see from this angle, then we are lucky that we have 70 different languages being spoken in Pakistan. And now, after introduction of modern linguistics, theoretical linguistics in Pakistan, the shame that our people used to feel in the study of indigenous languages, that's gone. Now we don't feel inferiority complex when we are talking about the so-called, the term I don't want to use, but the term was used about indigenous languages of Pakistan, that these are minor languages, whereas they are not minor at all. Now I'm studying Jafarki language in Balochistan, and I feel proud of that. I'm studying Khetrani. My recent project that I'm launching now is about Khetrani language being spoken in Balochistan province, which is not known. So now there is a dynamic and revolutionary change after the introduction of linguistics in Pakistan, that we are doing research on those languages which were previously even not documented. Now we have started documenting those languages, and the Western universities are spending a lot of money on documentation of these regional languages in collaboration with Pakistani researchers. So it's a very revolutionary change that I see in this area.
Dr. what are the important features of Sarakiki language?
Sarakiki, to our understanding, is very old, ancient, and very important language of Indus Valley. The area which is called Indus Valley civilization. We are of the opinion that this language has been one of the oldest surviving language of this area. It has a very important, significant features which are, in some of the cases, which are very unique. Like Sarakiki has palatalization. Sarakiki has implosives which it only shares with Sindhi or the adjacent languages like Khetrani and Jafarki. To my understanding, we don't see any other language in Pakistan, and also among the known languages of India, we don't see implosives. These implosives are very important in Sarakiki. Besides, Sarakiki has very strong nasalization. Like in English, we have 3 nasal phonemes, but in Sarakiki we have 9 nasal phonemes. Along with this, Sarakiki is also very much rich in morphological structure. If we see different types of agreement levels in syntax and morphology in Sarakiki, like gender agreement, number agreement. Along with this, we have pronominal suffixation, And we have one way, two way, three way suffixations in Sarakiki, which is very unique. Although these characteristics have been found in other languages, but these characteristics are found in the language family, sub-branch of this family, which is called Northwestern Indo-Aryan languages, like Kashmiri, Sindhi, and Saraiki. These three languages share these things. This pronominal suffixation, which is double, means we have a pronominal suffix of subject and object attached to verbs. This is very important and unique feature of Saraiki language, along with other features. Besides this, we have very rich case system, and the case system also interacts with pronominal suffixation. So I see a lot of prominent features in Saraiki, which if we discover thoroughly, we can discover a lot of things related to the languages of Indus Valley civilization.
Dr. Sahab, what is the scope of linguistics in Pakistan?
As I said in the beginning, actually, when if we have to see the scope of linguistics in Pakistan, we also need to see the scope of linguistics in the whole world, because we are part of this world. It's a global village, so we are getting direct influence from the world. So practically, what's happening? Linguistics has got a very broader scope. If you see things like neurolinguistics. In neurolinguistics, we directly study the working of human brain. The relationship between human brain and language learning and language functions. Along with this, if we go to computational linguistics, we see a lot of things in computational linguistics have directly been taken from language, human language. The way humans acquire language, following those principles, computer scientists have tried to develop computer language. Even our principles of artificial intelligence are directly related to the principles of language learning and language formation. Along with this, now in the modern world, we have branches of linguistics like forensic linguistics. So linguistics is being used in courts. The reports of linguistics are being used as evidence in proceedings of courts in the West. So we have got a lot of scope, and all these things can also be used in Pakistan. We can use all these things in translation, we can use in computer, in language learning, in language acquisition, in a lot of things we can use linguistics. So we have to follow these lines as the West is doing. Following those lines, we can use linguistics in countless things. Even in medical sciences, the university where I have been studying, at University of Essex, we had courses related to human speech therapy. Those children who are by birth, because of some strokes of different diseases, sometimes they got speaking problems. The speech therapists, they are taught linguistics, because once they understand how human minds works in linguistics in spoken activity, then they try to find out some exercises which are related to which are used to rectify those problems. So even in medical sciences these days in the West, they are using linguistics. And all these are the fields which of course they are applicable. All these things are applicable in Pakistan. So if we adopt these things, gone are the days when we used to think that only study of tenses and grammar is linguistics. Today, linguistics can be used in courts, in computer, in medical sciences, engineering. Even if you just go to UT Lahore, and they have got a language center in UT Lahore. So it has got a wider scope in every related branches.
Dr. Forensic linguistics is an important area of research, especially in current scenario of Pakistan. In Pakistan workplace, exploitation is increasing rapidly.
Yeah.
What is your suggestions about the new researchers of forensic linguistics in Pakistan?
They need to use, actually the suggestions may be given to the policy makers instead of students or researchers. First of all, we as a student of linguistics, we need laboratories for forensic sciences. We need scientific laboratories, well established, well equipped laboratories. If these things are provided to us these days, we have direct access to internet. So all the research which is being done in University College London and their phonetics laboratory, or somewhere else even in United States of America, is available online. The only thing that we are lacking, we need some laboratories. And then we need to introduce courses. Courses, even they are directly related to the administration of university. If these things are provided to researchers, they can be very much helpful to to the proceedings of courts, to the speech analysis. We can analyze and combine and match different types of phone calls or different types of recordings and their characteristics, which may be very much helpful. Because I remember I was reading in a book, a professor of phonetics was once invited in a court in London, and he was given 2 different types of speech recordings, and he was asked, okay, just can you identify which particular piece of speech has been spoken by which particular person. And the phonetician, it was very interesting, he said, I can't say which particular speech is spoken by which particular person, but I can only tell that this particular piece of speech is spoken by a person whose throat is longer than the other specimen. And when it was measured, when it was scientifically measured later, and it was proved that was 100% correct observation of the scientist.
Sir, kindly tell us about your publications and presentations nationally and internationally.
After I completed, even before completion of my PhD, I had started giving presentations and publishing my papers in Europe as well as in Pakistan. I have approximately 40 publications, half of which are in international journals and half in Pakistan. And my book chapters are all published from abroad, mostly from Europe. I've also given presentations in approximately 25 different universities of Europe, which are all well known. Like twice I've given presentations in Cambridge University, England, Manchester University, London University, Berlin University, Paris. I've been presenting worldwide. And interestingly, in the world, wherever I presented, in most of the cases, my presentations were focused on Sarakiki language. This is something that I feel satisfied when I present about my mother tongue.
Dr. Sahab, kindly give us a message for our students and our viewers.
About the message, this is very tricky or interesting also, but tricky thing. My message is not then focused on linguistics only. It's for any discipline of knowledge. Our students, now we have to realize the need of time. We are in this world, which is a competitive world. Our students are our future. I will only advise them to see which way the world is going and try to come at par with the most advanced nations of the world, so that our next generations are not called backward countries or backward generations. For that we need scientific research, which is in line with the modern trends in linguistics, in research in the West. So we have to compete them, just set their aims that we are going to compete the Western world in the field of knowledge. Because if we come at par with them in the field of knowledge, then we will come at par with them in every other discipline of life.
Dr. Sahab, thanks for your kind time.
Thank you.
That was all from our today's program.